Okay, so welcome to Click Happy. This is a wee little guide to our program, and my name is Mandi Lynn. I will be your teacher today. So this is where photography meets wellness. It's for 7 to 17-year-olds and can be done with a cell phone or your fancy camera. Yes, your parents can join in, but I'll explain that in just a little bit. What makes the course special? Well, it's free, thanks to our sponsors, which I'll get to later. And you can learn with myself, and I'm a past New Zealand Creative Photographer of the Year. It's an award-winning wellness program that underpins the entire project. So, in the live Zoom session, we had a little chat party where we found out everybody's first name, age, what do they like to photograph, and what they like to do with the images. Now I'm going to take you on a journey. I want you to imagine that you could learn a universal language that was automatically translated into every single language. And what if it only took 5 days of focus to be pretty darn fluent in that language? Well, that, my darlings, is photography. It is the 1,000 words that come automatically translated into any language, just simply as you become more visually fluent in being able to create your images. So it helps you to take your ideas, put them into your camera, and then you have an image to show. And that can easily be dropped into somebody else's mind, regardless of the language that they speak. Now, there is a time commitment. Even though this class is free, obviously everything costs something. So this costs time. Now, there's a 5-day sprint, and then there's a whole month of challenges to help you develop these skills. In the 5-day sprint, there are 3 Zoom sessions. There's one on Sunday, there's one on Tuesday, and there's one on Thursday, and they're about 45 minutes or so. There are 5 photo lessons, and these are written, and then there is a video component to many of them, and they can take you from between 10 to 30 minutes each to digest the lessons. Just going back to the Zoom sessions, the Tuesday and Thursday ones are really question and answer sessions more than anything. There's not too much new content that's introduced there. And the one on Sunday is this one, which is the introduction to the course. And then on the 5-day spread, there's also 5 photo challenges. And the time that those take, well, that's entirely up to you. How much you want to play and experiment and really get in and learn in your camera. So that's how long is a piece of string sort of thing. And then it's followed by a month of challenges. So I'm going to throw down a bunch of things that you guys can be working at, and each one of these is going to give you a chance to create a new entry into our exhibition. So let's get there. What do you think is going to happen to the images at the end? So our goal is to create a book and an exhibition of the images. And we have some of the top photographers in the world who have signed on to curate the images. And if you want to check out their bios, head on over to our Facebook page at the Click Happy Challenge. We also are posting some of the images up on our Instagram challenge page, and we're trying to put up a lot of what you're creating. But as we get more and more entries, it's going to have to be tighterly curated. But yeah, you can see what other kids and their ages and what they're up to. Right, so the Click Happy free course has 5 days of online content. In summary, 20 photo challenges, 25 chances to have your image selected. There's an international community of young photographers who are going to be working alongside you, and you'll have a photographic portfolio when you're done. And that's all free thanks to the Wellington Community Trust, Absolutely Positively Wellington, and the Lottery Grants Board. Now, who's it for? It's for creative 7 to 17-year-olds who want to learn how to make a difference in the planet using their art. Now I'm going to tell you a little story about a couple of kids who've been in the program. Now this is Yavi. She's one of the students from Click Happy when we were teaching it live before we had to close down due to the coronavirus. She didn't know how to use any of the settings in her camera when we started. And this is Pagan. She was in the second class of Click Happy. She didn't know how to use anything but the auto settings in her camera, and she wasn't sure about the whole online learning stuff. They both struggled to understand all the buttons on their camera at first. Then they started to experiment and play. The hardest part was getting over the perfection paralysis and quieting the voice of their inner critic. Now, we also teach wellness with this. So a lot of the challenges will help you to look at an aspect of yourself, and specifically an aspect that has the potential to block your creativity. Because what we're really interested in is you becoming the best creative that you possibly can. Hang on, my cats are having a field day. Sorry, let's try that again. And we're not necessarily teaching you just to photograph, but we're teaching you how to deal with those mental blocks that can get in the way of your creativity. So one of the things that I encourage you to do in the course is to create a portfolio of images. You can do this in Google for free, and you can do it either in Jamboards or you can do it with Google Slides. So this is part of her portfolio. And this was her first week of shooting, and she was experimenting and getting familiar with aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. But she made this note that this was my first time properly using a camera. It was a challenge familiarizing myself with the camera, but it was a great experience. So she was struggling, as was everybody that was that was learning that hefty load of aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. It's the three-legged stool that holds up photography, and this whole project is to help you to wrap your head around that. So these were some of her home play challenges. This was in the beginning. She was looking at body compassion, and she was challenged to use the color red to showcase that. And she enjoyed the challenges because they gave her something to bounce off and to really use her creative mind. And these were just some of the other images that she created during her time in the course, which I thought were quite interesting. These were all done all on her own steam. We just laid down the challenges and she answered them in quite interesting ways. Now this is Pagan, and Pagan's from Canterbury, New Zealand, and she came onto our online course, and this was this was one of the first things that she was doing, which was to do a manual motion challenge, and this showcased her her ability to freeze or blur motion, and I thought she did quite an interesting job here. She managed to do both blur and freeze motion, and even catch a really cool abstract rainbow in the process. And she experimented a lot to get this particular shot. And then I really enjoyed this in her portfolio because she was going through, and the challenge was the Health at Every Size challenge. So it was using the color red to reflect how the concepts of health at every size, which is something you'll be given information about. And in the end, this was her result, which I thought was really interesting photographically because it totally told the story of different sizes and healthiness, and actually she used really interesting depths of field and foreground and background, and her color palette was quite limited, and I thought she did a fantastic job there. And that gained her passage into her portfolio that she built, gained her passage into the Click Happy Plus program, which is the follow-on to this free one. And Yeah, it's the Click Happy Plus basically is a real deep dive in mentorship, and it's for kids who are very much committed to learning photography and want to be taken to the next level of their on their photographic journey. And we also do a lot of focus on developing our creative resilience and being able to figure out where we are blocked in our creativity. And that's where the holistic wellness part comes in, and we help to unpack some of those blocks. There are scholarships available for that program in these particular regions: Manukau, Hamilton, Wellington, and Hutt Valley in New Zealand, and that's been sponsored by COGS organization. Yeah. And okay, now I'm going to take you in to how to do, how to submit your image once you've taken an image. So I'm going to do that in, whoops, hold on. I'm going to escape out of here and actually go to clickhappy.org. We'll go to the first challenge, CHC1. And so the first thing in the course you read, what I want you to do is just read what the challenge is. And this particular one, it says just read it and shoot it, and then you can go read the other stuff that comes afterward, which is really important stuff. But if you want, just jump right into taking the challenge. And the ones that come after that, you really need to read the content, because it teaches you how to do a new skill. And then once you've learned the new skill, then you go and apply that with your camera. But this one, I just want to see what you can shoot straight out of the gate. So once you've shot an image that basically, in this particular challenge, it's what's been different for you since the pandemic started. And you take a photo that represents that, and then you submit your image by clicking here. And what you're going to do is you're going to, once this loads, slowly loading. Okay, you just go to this form and you fill in all of these details, and then you upload your image here. And you drop in a consent form. So if there is anybody that's been photographed, if you can recognize a person in your image, not your animals, but a person, you'll need a consent form. So, and that includes yourself. If you're under 18, you'll need to have a consent form signed for any image that you are featured in. This just keeps, if you end up in the book, or if you end up in the exhibition, then we have the legal protection provided around that, because we are photographing minors, and we don't want to do that without parental permission. Or you are photographing minors, potentially. So even if you photograph an adult, you still need the permission, because we're all about consent form. Or we're all about consent here. So even if you're working with your little sister and you're photographing her one day, but then the next day she's like, no, I don't feel like being photographed. You can't use a consent form from the day before and then snap a sneaky little photograph of her, because she didn't give consent for that other photograph. So each day you do it, you need to provide a new, fresh consent form, and you need to identify that it matches the particular shot that you're doing. Okay? It's just about respect for everybody. All right. So add your stuff there, and then once you've added your stuff, then go to next, and then there's a whole nother section that just asks you some questions about grit and self-compassion on the first time that you do it. The next time you do it, you don't have to answer those questions all over again. But there are questions that I ask each time, which is things like, what did you learn from doing this, or why did you choose this particular subject? And answer those, because it can help you to develop your thinking process around your photography. All right, so let's jump back to the Google slide. And then what we're going to talk about here is the Jamboard. So Jamboards, this is if your mother or father or guardian has given consent for you to go into the sections where we talk about Jamboards, which are our video discussion platform, then you'll be given a password and you can come along here, and there are different things that you can create video chats around, and you can see different things. So there is a section on, hey Mandy, I'm confused about something. So you can post a question here in that topic, and it'll get to me, and I'll be able to answer you. And how do you create your image portfolio? That's in here as well. And then there's also a technical help section. This is for you to go to, and it's on your manual motion challenge. And this is where you go and you show other kids where on your particular phone or camera where there are places where you can change the settings. And then there's also a space for you to go and say hi. And so we get to know who you are on ClickHappy. Brilliant. All right. Now, so that you need to have your parents sign the form and provide ID, and then you get access to the forms. It's just to make sure that there's nobody older that gets into the forums and can post something that we're not happy about. Right. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to make a portfolio. So I'm just going to zoom away here. All right. So this is a draft portfolio that you will be able to find in a folder link that I give you in Google Drive. Now, this is the most important part. Please, please, please listen to this. Do not just start creating in this draft portfolio. What you need to do is go up here and go File, Make a Copy. All right. And then you make a copy of the entire presentation, and then you go and you rename it to your name. Okay, so don't just start writing in the master copy, because that stinks and then nobody else is going to have access to it. All right, so first make a copy, which will drop it into the same folder, and then you can rename it. Okay, and you can go back and change your file whenever you like. All right, and then what you do is you go and you drop a photo of yourself in here. You can put that on top and then delete this bit out. If you want your portfolio to be considered for ClickHappy Plus program, you can click this link to learn more, but leave this little guy up here so I know to look at it. If you're not interested at all, then just delete this whole section so that I don't have to, I will look at your portfolios, but I won't consider it for the ClickHappy Plus. Write your name, drop a flag down of whatever country you're from, or whatever, where you were born maybe, and where you're living now. And then, you can leave the little ClickHappy logo there. That's cool, because then we'll know that you're part of our... So what I want you to do at this point is I want you to tell what sort of a camera you're using for your challenge, and put a picture of it here, and put the type of camera here. And then this next page just has some links, social links for the course. So you may see some of your images here or on the Instagram page. Feel free to comment on it and about what you've learned while you were doing it. And if your family wants, they can tag you in the image, but that's obviously not required. But also comment and like other people's stuff, because that's cool and it feels good to get that. So our course is all about paying it forward. We want you to be generous. We want you to give as much as you are getting. So go and support other kids. If you're posting challenge images onto your own social feeds, can you please include the hashtag ClickHappyChallenge to your post so we can see what's happening, and so other kids can also learn about this course. It's free, and we're going to continue to teach it weekly during the time when kids are still in isolation around the world. So if they speak English, they can come along and join in, and it's free, and we want to get that global representation as well. So have them join in. So if you have any other friends, tell them. You can add up to 3 images here that you took before you started the program that you're particularly happy with. So this is, you can show me what you're made of already. And then at this point, this is when we start doing the challenges. So there's a link here that'll take you to where you need to post that image so that it becomes part of the pool of images that the curators can choose from. And then once you've done that, add your image over the top of this. And then tell us in this little block, you can click in here and you can write directly in it. And then you could tell us all about why you chose that subject and what you learned from making it. And you can extend this down if you need to, like, whoops, hold on. Just kidding. You can make it as big or small as you like and add content there. And you can change the font size if you want over here. You can even change the color of things and you can add little stickers. I don't care. Just make it yours. This is for you to decorate. So we've got, this is an example of one of Pagan's pages. So she stuck all kinds of stickers on here. She showed some of the things. She made a page about what decision-making process she went through in order to come up with her final image. So her final image would be on that first page, but then this is like some of the other outtakes that she had. So feel free to put your outtakes in your behind the scenes. And if somebody wants to shoot a behind the scenes video, by all means, put it in there. If you're into TikTok and you record a TikTok video, also put Click Happy Challenge. That'd be awesome. And record what you're up to on there. Okay, and then we just keep going. There's the manual motion challenge, the inner critic challenge, the muse challenge, health at every size. So these are your 5 challenges that you're going to get, and we'll explain more about those in the content that's coming each day. And then this part, if you can tell us what was the best part of the 5-day sprint for you, and then over here, what would you change about the course? And then I encourage you to share this board with 3 of your friends you think might enjoy coming and doing the course as well. Let them know it's free and they can sign up here. Awesome. And then where to from here? At this point, you can choose to apply for a spot in the Click Happy Plus to get extra training, or you can just carry on with the 20 free challenges that are coming your way, and just make sure that you enter them in and then add them to this portfolio so that by the end of it, you've got an amazing portfolio of 25 images that showcase your development as a photographer through manual settings. But please note that if you just put your images into your portfolio and do not submit them through the forms that I provide, they will not be considered for the curation or to go into the book. So put them both. Put them in the form and put them in here. Awesome. So that's how making a portfolio works. And then where are we going? We're going back here. Yes. And I'll go to this section. No, I'll go here and present. Again. Okay. So we talked about the Flipgrid, which is our video chat room, and then a little bit about safety. In order to get access to the Flipgrid and to our forum, which we are setting up, we need written permission and a photo ID sent through from your parents to be engaged in it. And what's next? So are you ready to become fluent in universal visual language? Awesome. Then listen and read to the lessons, take your camera out to play, submit your images to the forum, make your portfolio for yourself, and learn a skill that will last a lifetime. I look forward to seeing what you guys are creating. It is like Christmas each morning when we open the folders and see what gets dropped in. I am so delighted to see the progress that's happening and just the sheer creativity that's coming out of you guys. My goodness. Brilliant minds. The world is in awesome hands. All right. Look forward to seeing what you create, and I will see you at the next Zoom.